Imagine walking through the narrow streets of 17th century London, the air thick with the smell of wood and smoke. Suddenly, the night erupts into chaos as flames consume the city, turning the dark sky into a fiery red. Welcome to the story of the Great Fire of London. In 1666, a devastating fire swept through the heart of London, leaving an indelible mark on the city and its history. Known as the Great Fire of London, this catastrophic event destroyed much of the medieval city, changing its landscape and prompting a monumental rebuilding effort. But how did it start? What were its consequences? And how did London rise from the ashes? The fire began in the early hours of Sunday, September 2, 1666, in the bakery of Thomas Farriner on Pudding Lane. It was a seemingly ordinary night, but a small spark in the bakery ignited a chain of events that would lead to one of the most destructive fires in London's history. The wooden houses and narrow streets of the city acted as kindling, allowing the flames to spread rapidly. At that time, firefighting methods were rudimentary. Fire hooks, buckets of water, and demolishing buildings were the primary means of containing fires. However, the wind fanned the flames, making efforts to control the fire futile. Within hours, the fire had grown into an uncontrollable inferno. By Monday, the fire had engulfed some of London's most iconic landmarks, including St. Paul's Cathedral. The medieval cathedral, with its wooden roof and scaffolding for ongoing renovations, became a towering inferno. The heat was so intense that molten lead ran like a river down the streets. Despite the devastation, the fire had a silver lining. London was plagued by unsanitary conditions, and the bubonic plague had killed thousands the previous year. The fire's destruction of densely packed, unhygienic neighborhoods likely helped curb the spread of disease by eliminating many of the unsanitary areas. King Charles II played an active role during the crisis, personally helping to coordinate firefighting efforts. Onlookers and residents, however, were often in panic, fleeing with whatever possessions they could carry. Many took refuge outside the city walls, setting up makeshift camps in the fields. The fire raged for 4 days, finally coming under control on September 6th, when the winds died down and efforts to create firebreaks proved effective. By the end, it had consumed more than 13,000 houses, 87 parish churches, and many civic buildings, including the Guildhall. Despite the massive displacement of over 70,000 people, the official death toll remained miraculously low, with only a handful of recorded fatalities. However, some historians believe that many deaths went unrecorded, especially among the poor. The aftermath of the fire was both a crisis and an opportunity. Plans to rebuild London began almost immediately, with architects like Sir Christopher Wren proposing grand designs for the city. The most notable project was the rebuilding of St. Paul's Cathedral, which became a masterpiece of English Baroque architecture. Wren's vision reshaped London into a city of wider streets and brick buildings, reducing the risk of future fires. The Great Fire of London also brought about significant changes in fire safety. The first fire insurance companies were established, and regulations were introduced to prevent similar disasters. Brick and stone became the primary materials for construction, replacing the flammable timber of the past. Today, the Great Fire of London is remembered not only for its destruction, but also for its role in shaping the modern city. The monument to the Great Fire of London, designed by Sir Christopher Wren, stands near Pudding Lane as a reminder of the fire and the resilience of the city. The Great Fire of London was a turning point in the city's history. From the ashes of destruction rose a new London, one that was safer, more modern, and better prepared for the challenges of the future. This is the story of a city that turned tragedy into transformation, a story of rebirth and renewal.